people, stealing their land, stealing their political wealth, and then they mass deported in the 1930s with the Repatriation Act. 2 million Latinos, most of them were American citizens.
Yes, and what the president is doing, scaring the shit out of people who shouldn't have the shit scared out of them and should be able to stay here, is awful. And I told that to him to his face.
You did?
Yes.
That's amazing. That takes a lot of courage.
In this video, we are going to watch Bill Maher school woke idiot John Leguizamo on the show Club Random. Bill Maher is not going to hold back on John Leguizamo on Club Random because John Leguizamo will go on to make weird statements about immigration that Bill Maher couldn't even pretend to agree with. So Bill Maher eviscerates, dismantles, and destroys John Leguizamo without any mercy. So without further ado, let's get into the clip.
Yeah, well, we kind of famously had dinner a few weeks ago, months ago, and
so you called him out. You called him out.
We had don't make me go through this again, but it was a big controversy at the time. You must have
huge.
Seen.
Yeah, no, it was insane.
So they were mad at me for going there, the woke, but I kept saying, well, among other things, one, when I left the dinner and before I got there, I never stopped tearing him a new asshole about the things I thought he deserved a new asshole torn about. So,
and he took it. He took it with
and what they got mad at me about was just explaining that in person he's a completely different guy.
Oh, totally different guy.
And that is not on me. I'm just reporting.
Yeah.
And yes, you can have a conversation. And I did at one point say to him those exact words. I said, "You're scaring people. Yeah. Why do you want to scare your own citizens?" In public, he would have exploded at that.
Right.
And say, "You're a terrible person."
Yeah.
And in private, he talks to you like a human being and listens a lot better than a lot of other people who are in those kind of positions have. That's just the truth. I know.
Right.
I know they hate to hear it, and a lot of people are involved.
But it's the presentational, performative side of him that's so dangerous and heinous.
So dangerous and so heinous.
Yeah,
yes,
I mean that side of it. Because I've met him too. Because we all met him in New York. He was always in the clubs, hitting on some model or something, whatever. Sit down.
When people like John Leguizamo throws that in, that Donald Trump was out hitting on some model or whatever, John Leguizamo says it as if John Leguizamo himself was not out there hitting on some model. They throw that jab in on Trump to make it seem like he's a womanizer. It's a callback to some of the allegations that Trump had against him. I feel like you can be against a person's policies without having to make these ridiculous kind of statements. By the way, guys, if you do like this video, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and the notification bell.
Some corner trying to hit on all the hotties.
And what were you doing in the 90s? The same thing?
I always had a date. I always came with a date.
I met him once at Moomba. Do you remember Moomba?
Yes, of course.
You do?
I saw him at Moomba. He was always at Moomba.
Okay, well, that's where I met him twice before he was president. Once at the Playboy Mansion and once at Moomba.
We'll skip this part.
The people are a product of their times. He is a product of his
but some
time.
of us overcome our times.
Exactly. That is absolutely true.
He hasn't overcome that.
That is true and fair to say. But he's not on the level of racism that
Stephen Miller is. No, nobody's at the level of Stephen Miller's racism, and who's the architect of all this mass deportation. Grew up here in Santa Monica with Latinos, and I guess they bullied him, and he's got a chip on his shoulder over that.
But, I mean, part of this is a backlash to how badly Biden handled the immigration situation. It can't just be like come one, come all, which
Dude,
it was.
There's plenty of room here, and we need
room.
There's plenty of room in America. Come on, there's not a lack of room in America.
But it's never about room. It's about resources and about having countries have to have a border. It just can't be. I mean, they've done surveys and something like 200 million people around the world, when asked, would you come to America if you could? Yes, I would. Why wouldn't they? Lots of countries, are shitholes.
Right.
And they would love to be here. You can't
Not right. No, right. The places aren't shitholes, but...
Well, they are. That's why they want to come.
And it's usually because of America,
But they're still ish holes. They are. That has nothing to do with the people. And I can tell you that has nothing... It's not about the people, right? But the infrastructure. Trump said it himself about a certain country that he did call an ish-hole. He said not the people, but the way it's been treated and what the Clintons did to that country and things like that. And they would want to come here. And yes, I understand the whole establishment thing of what the establishment runs around, military industrial complex and other things like that, for sure. But John, do not act like, people wouldn't be running in here. And Bill Maher has every right to shut down woke John Leguizamo, who says, well, we have plenty of room here. Just say, I don't know what happened to John Leguizamo. I think that somebody told him he wasn't white. I'm not quite sure. There is an absolute hate that John Leguizamo has for anything that makes sense. I saw the derailing happening years ago, and I was like, something is wrong with this man. And going woke is just an understatement for it. But I appreciate Bill Maher's shutdown of John Leguizamo's absurd statement.
Done. Especially in Latin America, has beat up every democracy that was burgeoning in Latin America. They destroyed it to keep their oil or their resources or bauxite or bananas.
Like, if you don't really have rights, like as far as women's rights in most majority Muslim countries, women just don't have close to the rights we have here. If you can't dress the way you want, if you are in a country where there's just extreme poverty, which a lot of countries have, or if there's like the kind of corruption, and we have corruption here, of course, but on a level.
Well, we have extra new corruption with the meme coin.
But it is on a level in some countries that's way, way more.
Well, we're catching up. We're catching up.
We're catching up, but we still.
No, it's still.
But there's a reason why people want to come here, because it's still better.
But I got to tell you, I mean,
if you live in a country where you can take a chicken on a bus, that was always my standard. Okay, I think I have the right to call that a shithole country, and I.
I mean, I can understand too where John is saying, why don't we pay attention to home? Because now what's happening is the influx of people coming in. I mean, there's just so many things going on. I really wish we would be more of America first. I don't care about what other countries do. Bill Maher always messes up. Bill Maher always brings up this women's rights thing. And I just wonder how far that got us here in America. I'm just saying.
I see why you want to come here. It's not your fault you live in a shithole. It doesn't mean you're a shithole person. But you had the misfortune of being born there. And I get it why you would want to move here.
Right, but the thing is that the immigrants that are coming here are building the country. They're the essential workers.
They are.
They're the first responders. They're doing all your construction, painting, plumbing, raising all your food, cooking all your food, serving all your food.
Kids, taking care of your kids.
Taking care of your kids. We do all the work that nobody wants to do and keeps the country going. I mean, immigrants are the life source of this country.
Yes, they are, absolutely, because, again, we're both products of them.
Yes, we are both.
We need, but what most Americans, I think sensible, middle-of-the-road people would say is, yes, of course, we are an immigrant-welcoming country, but there has to be some order to it. It just can't be come one, come all. I mean, there was like video people would see of people, just the border guards just looking as people are just like giant trains of people. And, that's why, and then where do they go? They went to cities on the borders who then were like, you know what? If you people in New York think that it's such a great idea to let anybody in, we're going to bus them to you. And then what did the people in New York say? I mean, even the governor of New York was like, we can't take all these people. Mayor Adams was like, and he's right. It's like.
So, and that is true. I do remember when that happened and people were saying, oh, you're moving people around. It is a shame to take people and make political, symbols out of them. However, that is not the Texas governor's fault if he says, well, you know what? You guys keep talking about your sanctuary cities. Well, we're just going to move them to the sanctuary city. I mean, it was an absolute mess here, those first couple years of Joe Biden. It just was a simple mess. It really was. It really was. And that's why it's like on both ends, like, yes, you do have people who are doing the CNA jobs. They are doing those kind of like farm jobs and everything else. But you can't come here illegally. You simply can't. There has to be rules and regulations. And we need a moratorium, to be honest, because right now there's just so many different people here. You don't know who's here, who's not here. You don't know what's going on. It's really dangerous and it's unsafe. So Bill Maher did a really good job shutting down John Leguizamo's woke, absurd take on immigration. I will see you guys at the next video. Bye.